welcome back to Stretford Saffas. It's me, Mason Greenwood's biggest fan. The Ballon d'Or win in 2030. Just remember the name. I was the first oak to flip it. I'm hyping him up. He's 17. I'm hyping him up. No, jokes aside, we've got a huge debate this week. Got Stretford Singer here. We're going to be discussing Alexis Sanchez. For those of you that remember, he still plays for the club. He does still play for the club. For how much longer, we're not sure. But he's a topic of debate, so we thought we'd bash it out and discuss the pros and cons of Alexis Sanchez potentially leaving. The rumours are that he's leaving on loan with an option to buy, with an obligation to buy. Who knows? Singer's happy. I might not be that happy, even though he's been a bit of a flop. Singer, what do you think on the deal? Good, not good, positive, negatives? Give me your thoughts.
First of all, I think it's very good. I mean, look, the guy's not in demand, so if you're trying to get someone like him off the books, you've probably got to cut your losses and take the offer that's come in. I think he's done nothing to warrant another chance. He's literally scored 5 goals in 18 months at the club. It works out to something like £8 million a goal, which is
chill, boy. The Glazers are rich.
Ludicrous. I just think also, like, obviously, I think like to get him off the wage structure will be good too, so we can reinvest in more players unless the Glazers want to save that money. You never know. Also, it's difficult to negotiate contracts with our current senior players because they're like, if this idiot's earning 450k a week, shouldn't I be? I don't think he's great for the team culture. He doesn't look like he banters with all the lads.
No.
I mean, probably can't speak great English, granted, but I mean,
his best friend was Lukaku, who's now left.
It's a good example. Lukaku really also flourished at United.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think also just he's getting paid to walk his dogs. I think every time he walks on the field, he gets injured. So, like, obviously the negatives is that we're very short on numbers in attacking areas. But who's to say he's going to be fit enough to play more than one game consecutively without getting injured? So that's also a worry. You don't want to be paying what you'd be paying him to literally constantly be injured, and maybe it is time in the Europa League games and the Cup games to play the likes of Gomez and Greenwood and Chong, number 26, Nathan Greenwood, as opposed to, relying on this guy who really hasn't warranted anything to give another chance to. Like, he's been useless before.
Fair enough. No, listen, I mean, I can't argue with that. I mean, we all know, everyone knows Sanchez has been an absolute flop. At the time, we were all very excited about it, getting him instead of Mkhitaryan. It was a great deal. It's all gone down the drain. But for me, I actually look at it in from a slightly different perspective. I just think after the transfer window we had, selling Lukaku, who was our main goal scorer, as much as he may not be part of Ollie's plans, he was the guy who's going to get you 15 to 20 goals a season. I think we didn't replace him, which I kind of agreed with, because I thought it would allow Greenwood his path to be cleared, like Ollie said. So I kind of understood the thought process there. But I think being in 4 competitions, playing Thursday, Sunday, Europa League, and then Premier League, our squad is just so thin. I mean, if you look at the forward 3 positions, you've got Martial, Rashford, Dan, James. Let's just say those are the starting 3. After that, if Sanchez leaves, you've got Mason Greenwood and Chong. I mean, that's it. You're relying on a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old. So for me, I just feel like, yes, it's a great thing to get him off for the books, wages and all that kind of stuff. But apparently we're still going to be paying like half of his wages. So, I mean, listen, I just feel like if Martial or Rashford pick up an injury, you're relying on a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old to step into the side who haven't had any first-team action besides 10, 15 minutes here or there. And they're literally going to have to, if Martial gets injured for 3 or 4 months, or Rashford, I mean, you're relying on a 17-year-old to do this. So for me, I just feel like we're jumping the gun. I think it's a very risky decision. I mean, listen, if we don't have any injuries throughout the season, then we can kind of get away with it. But, Martial and Rashford are also going to go through patches during the season where they lose form. And a guy like Sanchez can play anywhere across the front 3. I think he'd be best down the middle. And yes, you have the doubt if you're going to be fit, how many games you're going to play. But even if he's fit for 15 games in the season, that's 15 games that Martial and Rashford can also get to rest. So for me, you can't just look at it as in Sanchez isn't going to, as in Sanchez is rubbish. But when Sanchez plays, that means a guy like Martial or Rashford can get a rest and they'll be fresh for the weekend kind of vibe. So listen, it's a tough decision to make. I see why we would sell him, but I also think it's extremely risky. And in my opinion, I feel like I think we'll be able to find one buyer for him in the summer. I feel like I'd rather him just stick it out for one more season, give us that option, let the likes of Greenwood and Chong be developed like through slowly and be cautious with that. And then hopefully sell him next summer. But I mean, it's a tough one.
I do agree. Like I do agree with both sides. Like it's a bit on the fence, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's just that I just think ultimately it comes back down to the core root of the club, which are the Glazers, because it's just horrendous planning. If you were to move Lukaku and not replace him, fair, because you still got like the option of Sanchez, but to lose Lukaku and Sanchez and then still not to sign a replacement, and none of this panic buy bullshit, but there was time to find a replacement. They didn't just wake up and say Sanchez is going. They should have planned for Sanchez's departure, even if it was late in the window.
Exactly.
Money's there from Lukaku. Sanchez, there'll be money, there'll be wages. Like I just think it's poor planning, and I think if we do get rid of Sanchez, we might get to January okay. But I think in January we would have to sign someone, and unfortunately we're going to have to pay over the odds because no one's going to sell their top player in January. So we're either going to panic buy or we're going to sign the player we want, but we're going to end up paying a huge premium on the player. So I think either way it's like obviously you'd want him to stay, hopefully find a bit of form, allow the others to get some rest, but like at the same time he just gives me the krills that I don't know, he's lost it, but you never know.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I think the one thing is we can obviously dip into the January market, but like you said, we're going to end up paying completely over the odds. And if we are so desperate for a striker, if someone's injured, hopefully not, touch wood. Teams are good. If a guy like Moussa Dembele, we're linked with in the market for 40 million, suddenly Leon are going to be like 70 million. So it's just, it all comes back down to the Glazers, but we don't need to discuss that. It's Ed Woodward. It's such bad planning from the club. They've put us in this predicament now with Sanchez. It's a terrible situation to be in, but we're going to have to see. There's about a week and a half left of the European window. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, have a quick debate. I hope that we do see Sanchez stay, not because I really want Sanchez to stay, just for the reason of I think our squad is already too thin. So for me, I'm going to say I wouldn't let him leave, but it seems like you on the side that you do want him to go, just to confirm that.
If he is going to play, I'm happy to see him go, but if he is going to stay, I really want to see him be given a regular chance at number 9, because that's ultimately where he was insane under Arsenal. Is a similar front three type of vibe that we're looking to now, very fluid, and the number 9's almost like free in a sense. And he's honestly insane there. I know he was more in his prime, but I think if he does stay fit, there are like against Europa League type of teams, he should be fine at his level. So I would like to see him go purely from a squad morale and financial point of view, just to free up some wages, get his huge normal wage off the books. But I do see why we would need him to stay. Look, in an ideal world, I would have loved to see like a Moussa Dembele come in, and then you would be fine with Sanchez going. But the Glazers and Edward can't be that far forward. So
no, exactly.
Probably is, even to hang on to the guy till January is probably what we need, unfortunately. But I still would like to see the guy go. Can't lie.
Fair enough. Good to have your opinion. Thanks for joining us. Guys, let us know in the comments. Do you think Sanchez should stay? Should he go? Does this all ultimately boil down to the Glazers and Edward's lack of planning? Listen, if Sanchez does go, my G, Mason Greenwood, he's going to be starting games, so I'm going to be buzzing. I would be excited to see it, but on the other end, I'm like, flip. 17 years old, it's a bit of a rush. But anyways, guys, thanks for joining us this evening. We'll be bringing you a Crystal Palace preview. That's our next Premier League match, so stay tuned for that. Stretford Singer, thanks for joining. And 21's coming home. Come on, boys.